This program is sponsored by Cumberland Valley National Bank and Trust. Visit their new location in Berea.
Hi everybody, I'm Samantha Burford, and I want you to watch MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCHS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube. A special thank you to our great sponsors. Jack Burford Chevrolet, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble, Luxury Pets, Express Roofing, we've got you covered, Faith Created, Assembly of God Church, ScenicCabin.com, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, give Sean a call, Tatum Enterprises, Richmond Tourism, WKYT.com, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, First Gear, Pro Signs, Berea Online, and Rosenbaum Communications.
Hey everyone, my name's Alex, and I want you to watch MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County School Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCHS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube. Madison County School Sports is proud to have Journey Auto and Boat Sales as the official sponsor of the Madison Central Marching Band on MCHS TV.
Welcome to MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
MCHS TV and Madison County School Sports.com present your look at local school sports. Oh, there you go. You got time. Go right. Goes up and under, nice throw. Oh, there you go, you got time. Go right.
Welcome back to MadisonCountySchoolSports.com. I'm Samantha Burford. I am extremely happy to be with you today, and I want to introduce someone very special. Mr. Brent Barton. Brent, congratulations.
Thank you.
This is an honor to be sitting this close to you. Now listen, we did not plan our green today, but it is kind of fun for television. Isn't it?
It is kind of fun.
All right, so listen, we want to get right to it. How did it feel when they announced Madison Central as the winner?
You know, it was really surreal. I thought back to that night. It's been 2 weeks from today, and I thought back to it a lot, trying to figure that out to answer the question. And I still don't have an answer. Lafayette or Dunbar, especially Lafayette, have been winning a state championship since 1989.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like you don't know how to deal with another name coming out of this loudspeaker.
Right.
And it's still kind of surreal. When they announced Dunbar coming in third, I thought we were.
You had a feeling.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I've had a feeling all year long.
Yeah.
We had the first home football game. Mm-hmm.
We were there.
Me and my assistant director, Dave Jaggy, looked at each other and said, they're good. They're gonna be great. Drew Muntz came over and said, well, looks like state championship to me. Of course, that's pretty presumptuous, especially in light that nobody else has won it since 1989. Yeah. But I had a growing feeling, and I had a feeling that night.
Yeah.
And when they announced Dunbar, I was just sure. But there's still an element that right now it hasn't sunk in.
So for those of you that don't know, the Madison Central Indians, their marching band won the state championship, the Class 5A state championship this year. First time, like you said, since what year was
1989.
it? 1989.
That Lafayette or Dunbar hasn't won it.
And they've always been your big rivals. I mean, every year you hear one of them.
To be really fair, we weren't even their rivals until we used to classify bands in Kentucky by band size. You know, if you had 50 to, I think 40 to 60 was a small class. The next class was 60 to, or the next class was 60 to 80, then 80 to 100 and 100 above. We used to be in 2A, so we never even really thought of them. But in 2000, right after we won Class 3A in 2004, we had to be, we got classified. The KMEA pulled all the band directors, said, we're going to classify you differently. We're going to classify you by schools.
Okay.
And size. So that bumped us into the Lafayette and Dunbar class.
Were you nervous? You
Yeah.
had to be like, oh my gosh, these guys were always good. Every year.
Yeah, the conventional wisdom was, and it still is, I mean, everybody in our profession is kind of shocked. The conventional wisdom is there's no beating them, that they own it, you know.
Yeah. Well, you definitely changed that mindset after this year.
Well, I know, and you know, the thing about it is it wasn't just like a fluke. We won our regionals, which had Lafayette and Dunbar. We won that. It wasn't a huge margin victory, but we won it. And then we won semifinals. Again, it wasn't huge, but we won that.
Right.
And then finals we won by 2 points, which the way they factor out.
That's a pretty big number by 2 points, right?
Right, it is, because they factor every judge's score times 0.1 or 0.15.
Right.
So we actually, it was kind of like 20 points out of 100.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it is, and we won every caption. We won the marching. We won the best marching, the best music, the best.
You took it all.
Effect. Yep.
It's really unbelievable when you stop and think about it.
It is unbelievable.
And I know that, I mean, just every day you have to get people still congratulating you. It's been what, 2 Saturdays now?
Oh yeah.
So, and it would not have to be today. Today's chilly, but the sun's out. It's beautiful. Would you rather it have been today? At least the weather.
Yeah, it was terrible weather, and that kind of worked to our advantage a little bit.
It was frigid.
It was terrible. It was.
I know people that were planning on coming that didn't even come because it was too cold.
We sold about 600 seats to the Madison Central to the championship, and I looked up there, and I'm sure there wasn't more than 400. I'm sure 200.
Yeah.
I know I was supposed to have like 7 family members that came, and ultimately my wife and my brother, they're pretty stout. They ended up showing up.
Yeah.
But other than that,
diehard fans.
we diehard fans. My mom was supposed to go, and she's never missed one. But we made the executive decision that she
needed to stay at home this time.
Yeah, she could watch it on TV.
So tell us, I mean, with that extreme temperature, what did the students playing have to do anything different? Did you have to keep them, I mean, you worry about them being flat.
Right, you do. The instruments are designed to be played and sound best in 72 degrees. When you start talking about 30 degrees, it's not even a question of being flat. It's a question, will they make a sound? Will they respond? So
as the coach, what do you do?
Well, we did something kind of unique. KMEA gives us a 30-minute warm-up spot.
Okay.
And we didn't take it, which is kind of...
They probably thought, what's going on?
Yeah, I made the executive decision that, and I started thinking about it all week.
This was in the evening before the finals?
It was before semifinals, too.
Okay, that morning.
I did it both times.
Afternoon. Okay.
We went ahead and practiced like we usually did. Then we put our uniforms on, and we played a few notes, and we just drove over there and stayed on the bus until... And then we just basically ran to the field.
So this would keep them warm and the instruments warm.
At least until the last minute or two of the program. When you can, and if you listen to it, you can really hear it start to sound flat. But at least the first 2/3 of the program.
Yeah.
But we didn't take our warm-up, which is pretty unconventional, but I think it was the right thing. And in retrospect, I would do it again.
Yes, I don't blame you. And obviously it was the right decision.
It worked like a charm.
It worked. Did anybody else do that you know of? Or were you
Not
guys
that I
the
know
only
of.
one?
Not that I know of. You know, I saw those other bands out there in the parking lot. The kids were shivering. And, you know, it's not just instruments. When it gets to be, you're talking about your kids being swimmers. When you start to talk about anything, whether it's water or air being 30 degrees or 35 degrees, your muscles don't work right.
Right.
You know, your muscles start to slow down.
And you need them at the top of their game. I mean, this is the day.
Yeah,
they have to perform.
It's a very active program. We're known, in addition for playing really well, we're known for being very athletic. We march insanely fast tempos. We do a lot of high-powered color guard things. I mean, that's kind of our shtick, is that we're real athletic and we're real mobile in terms of, and we also play well.
Not only at the home football games did I enjoy watching your band, I also enjoyed watching you. It's a treat to watch you. I noticed at the games that you would turn around, you'd look up at the audience. Do you do that to see if the crowd is watching, the parents are watching? Do you watch it to see if they're engaged?
I guess this is a state secret, but you know, we're here talking on TV. What really concerns me from the time I write I do something a lot of band directors don't do. I write all of our own music.
I was going to get to that, and we can go there if you want.
Well, but before that, to answer your question, you know, pacing a program, you have to pace a program. You don't want to have constant hits and impacts, because then the audience gets worn out. You want to pace a program. It's kind of like telling a joke. You want to set them up, you want to deliver, and then you want to bring in the punchline.
Yes, and for those of you that don't know, you know, you follow the music and it gets soft, it gets loud. You know, for not everyone that understands all the music words.
The pacing, but the pacing is key. And even though the crowd is not as sophisticated as the judges, there's still an element of human reaction that you or Mr. Rosenbaum or anybody that's still very common to whether you're either judging a program or whether you're just watching a program for the first time. And what I look for is to see if the crowd is clapping in the right spots. And if they're not, then I'll go back on Saturday morning, or I'll go back on Sunday, and I'll rewrite things to see if I can pace it better. Because, you know, it's like telling a joke. They say comedy timing. You can either tell the punchline too early and not get a laugh, or tell it too late and not get a laugh.
Yeah.
But you have to time it perfectly, and that's how band is. You have to time your impacts.
Yeah.
And so I look around. I don't look at our band parents, because I know they're going to clap.
Yeah.
I look around and see the average football fan.
Okay.
I look around and see the average person that doesn't sit where the band parents are, and I look to see if they clap. You know, I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question, but it's kind of funny that you did, because I use our football crowd to gauge whether the pacing.
Because I watched you.
Because to see if the pacing of the show is right.
Yeah. Well, and I also enjoy, you know when it's coming, and I can tell, and I believe you would say, bring it.
Yes.
I believe that's what you would say, like that. And they do. They did. We recorded them about every home game. I noticed, I have a student in a middle school band, but I'm telling you, to watch this, I know you told us off camera earlier, well, and you said it a second ago, you had the feeling, you knew this was going to be the year. Not knowing about how your season was going, I had a feeling too, just watching them progress as the season went on from home games. And there was a few home games you didn't even come out in March.
Well, there was one that rained like crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, our equipment and stuff is so old and beat up. I have to be real careful with it. And there was one, we really wanted to march. I think it was the last home football game.
It was freezing.
It was freezing and it was raining.
Yes.
Yes. And I brought the kids down. We were going to march, and then it started raining, so then we were going to march in jeans and street clothes. And we got out there and just started pouring, so we just turned around and walked back.
Walked off, yeah. I saw you. Because we were like, uh-oh, they're not going to march.
Yeah, and we really needed to, because that was the first time we put our whole show on. I mean, we finished the conclusion, and we were going. Again, I really like to break it out at the football games and test it out and do a test drive.
Because I think you had a competition the next day.
Yeah, we had a competition the next day. So we ended up having to break it out at the competition, which is never very comfortable.
Right. Yeah, and that probably made you a little nervous.
It made me a lot nervous.
Yeah. But we can talk about your competition season before we get into more of the state season. Let's go into, you know, you had a great, every competition. I think you won all of them but one. And
we did.
You really should have won that one.
Well,
we don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about the ones that you did. And you took almost everything.
We did. One of the things, Madison Central's we've always been kind of, well, like, for instance, Lafayette. Lafayette is fed into by a school called SCAPA, which is School for the Creative and Performing Arts.
Okay.
And so they always have magnificent dancers and young ladies on their color guard.
On the color guard, yes.
I mean, first of all, they're beautiful, they're in shape, they're fit, they've been dancing since they were 7.
Yes.
But, it's kind of like gymnastics and everything else. There's a lot of years in training in creating a dancer.
Right.
And, we just, the past 15 or so years, we've kind of stumbled through that part of the program. There's no SCAPA in Richmond.
No, there's not. There's not.
But we have.
But I think you had one of the largest color guards you've ever had.
We had the biggest by far. And some of the girls, we tapped into Laura School of Dance and a couple other places.
Yes,
and,
I know you've got a dancer from Bluegrass Dance as well.
And these kids they're remarkably well trained, and we featured them. We wrote things to feature our dancers, which everybody's like, wow. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Happy Gilmore or not, but it's like, uh-oh, Happy's got a putting game now. And with us, it's like, uh-oh, Central's got a dancing game.
Got some dancers now.
Yes.
Well, and you did, I thought, as I have daughters that dance, I thought you did a wonderful job featuring them, because you could see them come to the front, then you would see them go to the back, and I mean, I thought it was fantastic the way you moved them. We
did it on purpose. One of the things I've done at Central, and it hasn't been overnight, it's taken a while, is I've developed my own team. Like the guy that does our drill, he now, it's somebody I've been working with and teaching and building since 2006. And he's now become a master drill writer. And we sit, as opposed to me hiring it out done, which is what a lot of people have to do, because it's a very specific skill. Now, he and I talk, and he and I and our guard instructor, we talk, where can we bring them out? Where can we have them jump? Where can we have them do a sachet?
Yes.
And that shows.
And you work together.
It's paid off. Yes, we work. We.
How long does it take? A lot of people won't realize how long this process takes.
Oh,
you keep changing it.
I'll start working on a show. When I'm going to drive out to my mom's out on the farm, and I'll probably drive around the farm and just listen to music for 2 or 3 hours, and listen to movie scores, and I'll listen to Broadway scores, and I'll listen to pop songs, and I just take a little bit of this and that and create our shows.
And the theme this year was
Vendetta.
I thought quite appropriate, little creepy, but appropriate.
It was a little dark. It was a little creepy.
But I think you like dark. You've used dark, scenarios the last few years, haven't you?
That's another thing that we're noted for. Like everybody's like schools are noted for being fast, and sports, or for being strong, or for being deep, or
we're noted for being creepy.
We're not creepy so much, but we're noted for being dark. I really like minor chords. When you can write, you can do a lot with minor chords.
Right.
You can get away with more non-chord tones, and you can get away with more counterpoint. And so I like this big, dark symphonic sound, and I like big, dark movie scores. Like The Godfather, it's a beautiful score. I don't know if you ever watched the movies.
Yes.
But the music's just haunting.
I have to turn it on and turn it off, because it gets a little frightening for me sometimes. So,
But the music is, and I'd like to think
the music is fantastic.
I'd like to think that I'm kind of a romantic at heart too.
Okay, people would not know that from from what you've put out.
Well, you take like that Godfather stuff. It's very, very haunting to me, and I've kind of wanted to do it for years, and I haven't found the right vehicle. But I also like Mozart. He's one of my favorite classical composers. And I've really liked the score from the movie Sweeney Todd. And again, that's creepy, It's a creepy kind of thing. But we try to lighten it up. We do some things to lighten it up. But there was kind of some creepy stuff. Like we used the black rose, which is a mobster thing. If you get a black rose, it means your neck's on the execution list, or it means it's at your funeral. And we used.
And I think a few of I don't remember what instruments it was, but throats were slit, I believe.
Yes, we did that too.
Okay, yeah.
we used some sound effects, and we did some throat slitting and some stabbing. And
Yes.
as a matter of fact, we had a little section, and the home football crowd never got to see this. They would have loved it. But we had a section where the flute is a long and perpendicular or parallel instrument. It's long and vertical. I'm sorry, long and horizontal. But we did a thing where the clarinets are all staged out, and then we march one flute around each clarinet. Just luckily, we had to write a number of flutes and clarinets, and the clarinets or the flutes march around the clarinets, and then put the flutes underneath and then slit their
yes.
throat. And then one of the judge caught this, even wiped off the blood off the end of the flute after they slit their throats, and the clarinets fall to the ground dead.
So see, that's what you want. You want the judges. And
Yes.
don't you wonder if they catch everything sometimes? Because aren't
Right.
they sitting up high?
That's one of the hat tricks is, how do you communicate with the judges because they're so high?
Yeah.
Luckily, the Eastern Stadium, they sat in the president's box.
Okay,
Which is
right.
close enough to see that. The visual, we have different categories, and one of the categories that we have to score well in is visual effect.
Yes.
And the visual effect judge goes, "Oh wow, you can even see the flutes like wipe the blood off the end of the flutes." And then he goes, "I never knew flutes could be so sinister. They're usually nice."
So for those people that don't realize this, but you get the judges' comments after the
Oh, yeah.
competition.
Oh, yeah.
So while they're watching you, they record themselves. So some people may not know that.
No, yeah, as a matter of fact, I'll go home and rest like after a contest, and then I'll wake up at 7:30 or 8 on Sunday. That's the day I sleep in.
Yeah.
And
After a competition.
Yeah.
On Saturdays.
the 7:30 for me is sleeping in.
Yeah.
And then I'll go through all the tapes and I'll send them to all the staff, or at least the right staff, and then we'll talk on Skype. We used to have meetings, but we don't do it anymore. We're all too old.
Yeah, you don't have to do that now on Skype.
Yeah, we've
You
got
just-
Skype.
Yeah.
And we'll just get on Skype and say, this moment took a long time. This moment didn't develop well. Nobody's clapping for this. Nobody liked that.
And you switch things out.
Yeah. So then we go to rehearsal on Monday and we make the changes.
Yeah. I guess the question I'm anxious to find out, did you make any changes between semifinals and finals?
We didn't,
Okay.
and sometimes I do.
You do?
Sometimes I'll make a subtle change, but something had been playing back when I thought that maybe we had a chance to win it all. Something had been playing in my mind a lot is that we, in the past, like we only went to be in a 5A band in 2006, and that's not a very long time. The other perpetual finalists, North Hardin, Lafayette, and Dunbar, they've been winning state championships, or they've been in 5A finals since the late 80s. And we're very much a newcomer to the game. And I felt like up until this year, even last year, we had a fabulous band. But I felt like the kids were happy to play themselves into finals and then just hang out.
Okay.
This year, we put the emphasis like you're going to make semis. Save your emotional performance. Save your best performance for finals. As a matter of fact, we were out in the parking lot, and we had a wonderful practice between semis and finals, and the kids were ready to do a run through the show. And they walked back without me even saying. They said, we want to do a run through. And they got up, and right before they played the first note, I said, stop. I feel like this is going to be an amazing. I want the next run through you do to be amazing, and I feel like this is the run through. So we're going to say what you're going to do now to final. So I didn't even let them do the run. We just went back to Daniel Boone. That was our staging area.
Yes.
And they were all, like, no, we want to do it.
They were anxious. They wanted to.
So they were keyed up when they were keyed up on the bus. They were keyed up. You could tell they were keyed up when they walked to or they were so cold they were just.
Well, they were definitely fed well, from what I understand.
Yeah,
You've got some of the best band parents. They fed them 4 times that Saturday of the state championship, I believe.
Well, especially when you're talking about it being 30 degrees, marching and playing burns off a lot of calories.
Yes.
It's not uncommon for our kids to lose anywhere between 7 and 15 pounds apiece.
During the season.
During the season.
That's incredible.
But now they put it on. They put it on by Christmas.
When they're feeding them.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing. A lot of people may not know this, but you guys really are in every type of weather. You're out there all summer long in the heat. Then you get a little bit of the fall and the rain, and then you're out in the freezing temperatures.
Yes.
You just missed the spring is what you miss.
We do that, and you know, we actually do some, every once in a while we do some kind of conditioning. I'm a concert band guy too. I really love concert band.
Yes.
And so a lot of bands will do fundamental techniques and foot techniques and stuff for the younger kids in April and May, but I don't do much of that.
Yeah.
So we miss that, but you're right. We start off, it's so hot that you can't breathe.
Yes.
And then usually our finals, it's like freezing and the wind's blowing, snow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah,
the temperature changes.
It's crazy that kids can perform in all of it.
And they just adapt.
They just do.
And this has to be one of your biggest bands, largest in numbers, right?
It's the biggest band in Central's history. It's close to 170. I say 170.
It's bigger than the football team, bigger than, of course, all the JV and varsity basketball teams. I mean, you've got the biggest. I don't know of anything else in this Central.
I want to think we have one. Yeah, I'm sure it is. And I'm hoping it'll be a little bigger next year.
I would guarantee it's going to be bigger next year. Are you ready for that?
Well, it's really, you know, everybody says it's a nice problem to have, but it's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
you had a few middle schoolers this year.
The last 2 years, yep. The last 2 years, we've barely had enough uniforms. And I don't know, like we're cannibalizing uniforms.
Okay.
And you know, our uniforms cost about $250 or so.
I'm sure they're expensive.
They are expensive. So if you're talking about 10, you know, you're talking about $2,500.
Yeah.
So there's that. Also, the big school instruments like the baritones, tubas, the drums, those are really expensive too, and we don't have enough of those. So
what do you do? How do you make it work?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
And you don't ask the students to pay for their own instruments. Are they renting them? How does that work?
No, we don't. Like, you know, I know a sousaphone costs $6,000. And we don't ask, you know, I'm not going to ask somebody to go out there and buy $6,000. A baritone costs $2,000. A lot of our kids couldn't afford that. I don't know if, you know, I could afford a $6,000 sousaphone. So
I think someone that's going to do it for a lifetime and be, you know, could do it. But you're asking a high school student. And
high school freshman.
Yeah.
The board has been, especially Mr. Marshall, Mr. Cottle, and now Mr. Thomas have kept us from going under. But it's getting to a place, the program's growing at such a rapid rate, and it started off at such a needy rate. We're kind of getting to a place where their board's going to have to make a huge investment or not have it. You just have to sit there and choose.
You're going to have a lot of upset students if that happens.
You know, it's getting to be. It's kind of funny. I was at Cottle. I have two nephews in the Cottle band with Ben Walker.
You were there this week to perform,
and I
weren't you?
performed there yesterday. But I was there just as a spectator on Monday night, and he has close to 100 sixth graders in his.
Sixth graders. Typically, sixth graders are coming in and they know very little about music.
Right. I mean, he's sitting there. He's teaching 106 sixth graders by himself, and let's say, you know, if you just get 50 of them. I guess what I'm trying to go with this is Madison Central and Richmond, especially our northern Madison County. I don't want to say, I don't have southern is a different ball of wax,
right?
But we're going to be noted. We're sort of a band community. We're noted as a band school. Even Mrs. Lakes, when she was principal, she'd say, you know, every time I go to an in-state or out-of-state conference. When I say I'm from Madison Central, so they say, "Oh, that's a band school," and it's going to become I think it's going to become a huge band school.
So you're going to have to like get double you. You're going to have to split, and they're going to need 4 or 5 of you.
Well, you know, when I first came to Central in 1994, there was me, and then there was Larry Looney, who had been a band director when I was in high school. I don't know if you guys know Larry, but. And Larry really spent 2 hours in the lunchroom, and he spent 4 hours teaching. So there's really me. I taught at Clark Moore's in Central. So there's just really me and almost a half-time person.
Yeah.
Now in northern Madison County, we have 5 full-time people. I have a full-time assistant, and I have 3 middle school band people. So there's 5 of us just for.
And you have some fantastic middle school band.
Oh yeah. Well, if I can be immodest. I've had a big hand in, you know, guiding the principals to hide. They've said, who do you want?
Right.
And we found terrific people. I would put our middle school band staff against anybody in the state.
My middle daughter came in 6th grade, like we said
Mm-hmm.
a second ago. Only had taken some piano lessons. She is now loving band, 8th grade band, jazz band up at Madison Middle. And I'm telling you, it is fantastic what Mr. Evans has done. And like you said, at Cottle and at Clark Morris, it's incredible what these band teachers and how they provide them the love of music.
It was funny, we were at Cottle yesterday performing the show, and something I do is, how many of you all are in band? And of course the whole Cottle student body is sitting there in the bleachers, and it seemed like the whole darn school stood up.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
the kids in the band were like, whoa.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
a lot of us. Yeah, and they're coming your way.
And I certainly don't want to make any implication. Central is a great school, and we have great academic leaders. We have wonderful coaches and wonderful teachers. It's really, I think Madison Central, and I'm a little bit biased. I went there as a high school. I think it might be the most underrated school in the state.
Yeah.
With what we do with our kids and what we achieve, I don't think there's a better coach that I've ever seen operate than Alan Feldhouse. I'll just throw him out there. But he's a master teacher too. I have a real fond memory. Alan had just won the region in 2005, and I'm up there doing some band stuff. It's like 6:37 in the morning. Alan's there running off papers for his science class.
Yes.
He's just won.
Yes. Yes.
You just don't find that.
And the students love him.
Yeah, that's
from what I understand, there are a lot of his students. They love him.
He and I talk about the academic performance of our band kids, and he's very enamored. He's like, your freshman band kids are out of sight. They're not only great musicians, but they're great, and they are. I mean, we have great. One thing we haven't mentioned is this year's band.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
This year's band is very young. It's there's only like 12, 13 seniors.
Yes.
Last year we graduated.
We should have had them on. We should have brought them.
We should have, and if you get to a spot,
we'll bring them in.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Because they're all pretty intelligent, and they're all pretty.
And academically smart.
Yes, they're all.
School smart.
We have quite a few kids that have ACTs over 30s. It's not a rare at all.
It's impressive.
It is. And last year in my wind ensemble, which is my top group, we had 8 or 9 kids, I can't remember which, that had ACTs over 30.
That's impressive.
Yep.
What do you do as far as regulating their grades if they fall behind? Or I'm sure you have tutors and programming.
We really don't have tutors.
You
because,
don't?
No, we don't. But we keep an eye. My assistant and I, he does a real good job of this too, David Jaggy. If we see somebody come up with a C or D, we pull them in the office and say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And you struggle.
They know you're watching.
Most of our band parents, like with sports, I think a lot of times that the parents assume the kid's going to do sports in college, or that they might even have a career for them in the pros. But most of our band parents know their kids aren't going to be professional musicians. They wouldn't allow them to be professional musicians. But
that could be a scary road.
yeah, it's a very scary. I wouldn't recommend it. But most of our band parents are very ambitious. They want their children to go to college. Let me rephrase. They expect their children to go to college. They expect their. I fill out a recommendation for a kid that wanted to go to Furman the other day. And they expect their kids not only going to go to college, but a lot of times a high-end college and major in medicine or law or something.
Do you have very many that move on and play in marching bands at their universities?
I'd say a third of my kids.
Okay.
I wish it were a little higher, but here something that works against the college band directors. We have several kids that are marching for Eastern today. Eastern's doing what they call marching colonel for a day, but band in high school is competitive. Almost all high schools compete, and the kids and their parents get really locked into that competition thing. It becomes very seductive, very engaging, and the parents get white hot over the competition aspect. I mean, it's like, and then colleges don't compete. So,
a lot of people may not know that too.
Yeah, colleges bands do not compete. Now, there are college level entities that compete, musical entities, but they meet during the summer when colleges aren't in session.
Okay.
And so our kids, you know, one of the things that they treasure and love the most about band is the competitive aspect. And when you pull the competitive aspect away, the kids just like, what am I doing here?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, why am I doing this?
It's a lot of work, and we're not going to reap any of the
we're not, no trophies, no thrill.
Which they've been accustomed to now,
which they've been conditioned to since the 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, I'm going to take a quick break because we got to get our advertisers in there.
Sure.
But when we come back, we're going to talk about, if it's okay with you, the real challenge, which is coming up with your next season. How will you do it again? Okay? So when we come back, we'll get there, all right? And we'll be right back with MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
Madison County School Sports is proud to have Journey Auto and Boat Sales as the official sponsor of the Madison Central Marching Band on MCHS TV. This program is sponsored by Cumberland Valley National Bank and Trust. Visit their new location in Berea. A special thank you to our great sponsors: Jack Burford Chevrolet, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goebel, Luxury Pets, Express Roofing, we've got you covered, Faith Created Assembly of God Church, ScenicCabin.com, Equipment Sales and Rentals, give Sean a call, Tatum Enterprises, Richmond Tourism, WKYT.com, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, First Gear, Pro Signs, Berea Online, and Rosenbaum Communications.
Hi everybody, I'm Samantha Burford, and I want you to watch MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, MCS TV, and of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.
Oh, there you go, you got time. Go right.
Welcome back to MadisonCountySchoolSports.com. I'm Samantha Burford. We're here at Jack Burford Chevrolet. As always, we take over their little reception area and we call it our coaches studios. But I am here with the state champion, Mr. Brent Barton, and we are very excited to have you on Madison County School Sports Television. I have to tell you, I'm a little nervous doing this interview because I think more people, you have more fans, and I think this will be one of our biggest episodes ever.
Well, I don't know about that.
I think you have some fans.
There are a lot of band parents, you know. There are a lot of band kids. If all of them watch it, it'd be quite a bit.
It will be large. It will be large. Okay, so let's go back to, we want to talk about how young this team is of yours.
It's crazy. We did a tour of the middle schools yesterday, and then we did some group pictures, like all the sections, like the flutes, the drums, had their pictures taken with a state championship trophy.
Yeah.
And then it went on.
We should have made you bring so that we could have displayed
Nobody
it.
told me to. It's really big.
You're probably tired of carrying it around, actually.
I have had to lug it around some. We lugged it around
It's
all
heavy.
day. It is heavy. I make the kids carry it. I'm not going to carry it.
I don't blame you.
It probably
and
weighs.
if they break it, it's on them.
It probably weighs 65, 70 pounds. I mean,
that is heavy.
It's a traveling trophy. Sadly, you don't get to keep it.
Oh, you don't?
No, you have to get. They give you a very nice plaque that says Madison Central first place, and it's a huge plaque. But the trophy you got to give back. They inscribe your name on it, but it's probably too expensive to.
I would be asking Mr. Muntz to, like, hey, can you get us a replica?
I have thought, because we won it in 2000, and we won Class 3A in 2004.
Okay.
And I thought about getting. It's the same trophy. Well, it's not the same trophy, but it's the same.
Right.
And I thought about getting a facsimile of the trophies. You know, to put because you know they're nice trophies, and to win 2 championships in anything is not insignificant.
No, and you need to ask Mr. Feldhouse, Coach Feldhouse, how did you manage to get the one up above the the gym, his titles?
They did it.
So you need to get that done too.
Well, we have a little different area. They have more space to work with at the gym.
True.
We got this little hall.
You can ask to be put down on the other end. How about that?
We're going to try to do something. It's been in my mind to create something like, because the band's been successful for a long time.
Yes.
It's kind of starting to explode a little bit more now, but it's we've won 2 state championships, and because of the dominance of the Lafayette and Dunbar thing, in our field, making state finals is considered to be huge.
Yes.
That's the Final Four. And
yes.
because band is a performance medium, if you survive all these different systems of cuts and you make it to Saturday night at some Papa John's or L.T. Smith or Roy Kidd Stadium, then it's considered to be, the cream of the crop. It's considered to be a peak experience for your kids.
Yes.
Winning's just a little bit of an extra layer of icing.
Right.
But we've been in finals now. Last Saturday night was the 14th time I've been in finals, and Central's been in finals 17 times, which is pretty
impressive.
It's pretty impressive.
So let me ask you, the seniors that you have this year, every year, they kept moving up. So you're new, like we said, you've got a young team. How will you keep their expectations? They're going to want to win again, or they're going to want to make it to the finals again. But I don't think they're just going to want to get to the finals.
No, it's we had a sort of a poignant, it was kind of funny, but it's also kind of poignant moment with my assistant. We were talking, and I said, from here on out, this is a real game changer. Every show that doesn't win is going to be viewed as a failure. We were
That's
laughing
the hard
about
part.
it is
You're
hard.
right. You're right.
We were laughing at because even though we're competitive, I have a lot of respect for the Lafayette people, and I have a lot of respect for the Dunbar people. They work insanely hard. They spend money wisely. They invest money. They have great feeder programs. They have great students. They have great parent organizations, and so I know a lot about their programs, and because they win every show they have that doesn't win, even though it might be a spectacular show, is kind of viewed, that's an off year.
That
was a down year. It might have come in second in the state. But, that was sort of a down year.
Yes. And so now they're going to come back next year with a vengeance.
Kind
of the way you guys did this year. I think everybody was ready after runners-up season before. They were ready, determined. You had a determined group of kids. We
did, and they, at this point, band becomes exactly like sports. There's only 2 ways you can go. One is up or down.
Right.
And even if you stay the same, it's kind of viewed as going down. I mean, I think that everybody viewed that we were ready to take one more step.
Yes.
And that's kind of unfortunate because as you go up higher, there's a lot
more
less room on the top.
Yes.
So
it's easier to fall backwards than to.
I know that our expectation level will be high. I feel good about us. I mean, you can't ever predict victory with the competition level, the great groups that are there, and competition escalates. If you and I are competing, and I beat you, then you're going to spend a little more money and rehearse a little harder to beat me next.
Then I'm going
the next time, and then I'm going to invest a little more money. I'm going to raise a little more money, and then I'm going to. I mean, it constantly escalates.
So I guess the big question is when you are going to, where will you get your inspiration?
I don't know.
Do you already have a theme?
I don't.
You don't yet.
I have listened to. People will have ideas, and I don't always discount those ideas. I've listened to 2 or 3 themes ideas so far.
Okay.
I haven't bought into any of them just yet. We do things backwards because of me. We do things kind of backwards. Most of the bands will come up with a theme, and then they'll pick the music to fit the theme.
Okay.
And they'll come up with a theme and a visual program, and then they'll hire somebody to write the music. Because I do our own music, a lot of things start with me writing our music. I'll come up with music, and then we'll come up with a theme. Like we chose the Godfather music, then we came up with Vendetta.
Okay. That's perfect, though. It works together. It's
kind of backwards as opposed to the conventional method.
The way most do it.
Yeah.
But obviously it works.
It did work. And, our staff sometimes like, well, it would be nice if we did everything like everybody else. It would be nice if we weren't so backward, if we didn't do things backward. But,
but it is what it is.
As they say on the farm, even a blind hog finds an acorn some days.
That's true. It is absolutely true. So, how long will it take you to come up with this? I mean, you're still, I want you to still reap the rewards and really just enjoy this moment. But when will you start planning next season?
I'm planning it. I'm planning it now. I'm thinking about it in my head. Like if I get a few free minutes,
okay.
I teach piano class, which I really like at school. They're sweet, very sweet kids. And there's about 20 of them. But when they leave, sometimes I'll sit at the keyboard and I'll go, that sounds good.
Yes. Yes. So you're already working on it.
There might be a show in here.
Well, do you ever have parents that, you said you have people that recommend things. Do you have parents? Is it your, other students? Do you ever have somebody
Most of the people
hey!
Most of the people are music professionals. Parents, it's kind of like, gosh, I don't want to offend any parents, but parents are like sitting out there going, we should be playing John Smith at quarterback.
True.
God love them. They
want the best for the program.
They want the best, and they sacrifice and they work their behinds off. But most of them don't have a solid base of knowledge of what we're working with, of what we're working with in the sheets, what we're trying, what would work in terms of the sheets are.
Let me tell you something though, you've got the best parents ever.
They're
because
wonderful.
Between the food and the moving of the instrument, to get you guys on and off the field is a sight.
It's an army. I mean, it takes an army. The programs it's almost an organizational nightmare to get them from, like if you go to a contest 100 miles away, to get the food truck up there, to get the food out there. In no way would I ever disrespect the parents. I'm just not quite ready to let them start designing shows.
I don't blame you. That's your forte.
Yeah,
so let
but
them
they do.
Move it.
Without the parents, you couldn't have.
No.
To have the band program we have, it kind of starts with a booster program. And not only that, but we spend money like crazy. All good bands do. Even not good bands spend money. Like for instance, I have a full-time assistant, but we have 170 kids. As we talked about earlier, I have dancers, I have color guard troupe, I have drums and percussions. All those are very specialized.
Yes.
We have keyboards, we have electronics. One of our middle school band directors, Jeremiah Fowler, does the electronic mixing and balancing. I hope nobody at Madison Central or nobody in our administration is crazy enough to think that me and Dave Jaggy rehearse 170 kids of that wide of broad of skills. I mean, and this is not, I love football, and we've got great football coaches here, but there's probably a wider variety of skill sets in the band than there is in football.
Yes.
Because you have to have dancers, you have to have artistry, you have to have visual artists, you have to have people design the flags.
Yes.
And so, most people aren't going to do stuff like that for free because it's time consuming.
Yes.
So we have to pay people to do that.
So when I watched your state championship performance, I thought I really should count how many times they get to a position and stop and immediately move to a different position. And I noticed that even you played a lot with color, because when they bend over, it may be black, but when they stand up, it's white. And
It's all very deliberate.
All of that is deliberate, yes.
It's all deliberate.
So you're probably happy that I noticed that.
Yeah.
But I just, the hours that it takes involved in putting all that on.
I wouldn't know. One thing I think with sports you have planning. And those coaches that plan the most, I would suspect, are the most successful. They're plan the most carefully.
Yes.
But with us, the program is about half. Half of it is how hard the kids work and prepare and fight, but the other half is I would say, like for instance, we have a music general effects sheet and a visual general effects sheet, and all that speaks to the design of the program.
Right.
You know, if the program's not designed well, it doesn't matter how great the kids play. If the program's not designed intelligently, if it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't have variety, if it doesn't have interest, if it doesn't engage the judges or the audience, the program is not going to be successful.
Do you know off the top of your head how many, back to my earlier question, how many positions they would march to? Do you say we need at least 35?
We had in this show, we had 79 sets. And of course,
See, I told myself we need to count it, but
well, each set is a page of drill. That's what we call a page of drill.
Okay.
But some of those pages had as many as 4 subsets.
Okay.
So there's probably about 140 or 150, you know, if you look at it completely.
well, I've asked several parents, because from watching it, one of them looks like it comes into a shape of a gun. Is that true?
Yeah, well, we don't talk about
'Cause I noticed it.
We don't talk about that much.
Well, it's high school students,
This
so you
is
don't
high-
want to
yeah,
talk about
this is
guns. But it
Madison.
was Vendetta and The Godfather, and I thought, that looks like a gun. That's fantastic. Maybe it was, you know, it could have been.
Well, it's like the throat cutting thing, you know. It's just a little bit like Picasso. We'll let you read it.
Believe what I want.
We don't talk about guns at Madison Central, and we don't bring guns to Central.
We don't. No, we don't. We don't. But I swear it looked like the shape of a small little handgun.
You know, you have to go with your theme. We did form the ballad, kind of in our ballad. You know, one of the themes about The Godfather is it's constantly refers to the broken heart. The Godfather wants his son to break out of the family business and be a governor and senator, and so there's a sort of element of heartbrokenness to the music.
Yeah.
And we form in the ballad, we form like 4 or 5 different hearts, and then we break them.
Okay.
And sometimes a judge will notice that without actually even noticing it. And we also form a lot of V's. We did a lot of things with V's because Vendetta starts with V.
I noticed that, especially at the end.
At the end of the show, there's a V, but if you look at it, it's kind of one of those white and black things.
Yes.
Depending on how you look at it, it's also an M. If you look at
because it came out.
So if you look at it one way, it's an M. If you look at another way, it's a V.
Because Madison Central.
Because of Madison Central.
I'm
there you go.
knocking it out. I watched you.
You know, one thing we've started doing is, as we've become better and better, we've wanted to establish our brand. And we're very proud of our school, we're very proud of our organization, we're very proud of our band. So we, from time to time, we like to, especially toward the end, we want to throw a big M out there, or we're going to throw a big MC. We want to
represent the school.
Yeah, we want to slap you in the face with "We're Madison Central."
Yes, yes. You know? I love it. I love it. The one thing we haven't talked about is it was at EKU this year. It has not been at EKU, Roy Kidd Stadium, since
1995.
That's right. Did you like having it here?
Well, at first I was a little bit, I wasn't very excited about having it here.
So you didn't want it here?
I didn't want it here.
You obviously you liked it at Papa John's Stadium.
It was great. It was great at Papa John's.
It's a very big venue.
I've always felt like it's a little bit harder to keep kids focused if they're here at home, because you know, the bowling alley's here, their friends are here, their girlfriend's here, their boyfriend's here, their parents here, their aunt Jenny who screams at them is here.
Yeah. Well, and you know, they might have had more relatives.
Their Walmart's here.
Yeah.
And it's harder to feel like, you know, if they get on the bus and they travel to Papa John's, they're all kind of somber. They know. And also, you know, some of our kids going to Louisville is kind of like going to Tokyo or something. It's a really big experience for them. It's a great experience for them. And Papa John's is a huge stadium. I don't know if you've ever, it's beautiful.
Yes, I've been there. It's fantastic. Yes.
So I think, you know, there's that element of awe to our kids. Whereas, you know, Roy Kidd Stadium is just right down the street, and we practice there 2 or 3 times a year.
Right.
But as it turned out, we had a couple of boosters that did like one of the insanely smartest things and I mean, they just, no other booster group did this as well. But the day the tickets went on sale, they went on blind faith, and they bought, on their credit cards, they bought $10,000 worth of tickets.
Tickets. I heard.
That's like nuts. And I'm like, I'm sitting there going, oh Lord, we haven't even made finals. You know, these people got thousands of dollars of tickets on their credit cards.
We better make it.
Yeah, you talk about pressure.
Mad. You think they'd be mad?
Oh man, I wouldn't. I'd move. I'd sell my house in the middle of the night.
Time to retire.
Yes, it would be retirement time. But they bought all the, you know, I'm sure you guys know.
The better seats.
Yeah, they bought the best seats. They bought the seats. They bought all the chairback seats. One of the ladies, her mom, her name's Sherry Moore, said, well, I guess I didn't want to burden our group, and I felt bad about this, but I didn't want to sit on some stupid bench. I want to sit in a chair. So she bought all the chairback seats. So
to be comfortable.
Definitely
more comfortable.
And as luck would have it, the chairback seats are in the middle of the stadium.
Right.
So when our kids lined up, and as luck would have it, you know, our show came on from the far sideline. You know, all of a sudden, what they see is 2,000, or they see 1,000 Madison Central fans sitting there.
Yes, ready to watch.
Whereas Lafayette's group, you know, they were underneath
they're spread out.
Yeah, they're spread out.
Yeah.
Dunbar's group was spread out.
You got some smart parents.
Yeah, you got some smart parents.
Yeah. So you said you didn't like it at first, but you grew to like it?
It ended up, it couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
Because it was so cold, we ended up foregoing the warm-up thing. We just kind of got on the bus and went there.
Yeah.
I mean, we played a few notes, but we didn't do like the full warm-up thing.
Right. Yeah, because from what I understand, you practiced them for 3 hours that morning.
Yeah, we did. That's how we roll. That's how.
You're like, let's go.
Yeah. That's the band. One of our teachers there, Mark Smith, he and I talk a little bit every morning. He's a history teacher there. Great teacher. But he was like, you know, I really like that about the band. You guys are up at 6 in the morning, you're practicing, you're at 11 o'clock at night, you're playing, you're practicing, you're always working, you know.
Yes.
And that's true. We got up, the kids were practicing at 8 in the morning.
Wow. And then didn't go home till midnight? The results were what, at 11:30 that evening?
Yeah, they don't even announce it until 11, and by the time they announce it, it's like 11:45. And then, of course, you know,
then you got to celebrate.
Could not get the kids off the field.
No.
Couldn't get the kids on the bus, and really, I wasn't too interested in doing it.
No, I wouldn't have either.
We took staff pictures. We took kids pictures. Parents all took pictures. You know, it was a heck of a moment for all the parents.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I kind of made up my mind. We were at a band booster meeting at Logan's, and I looked around, I saw how hard those parents were just trying to scrape together every dime, you know, so we could have a great program. I said, you know, these guys deserve to win. They deserve something really, really sweet happening.
And I think they would say you deserve to win.
They
love you.
They
call you Barton, right? They don't even call you Coach, or they just call you Barton.
Well, no kid better call you Barton. Most of them call him Brent or Mr. Barton.
Okay.
If any kid calls me Barton, I'm old school. I don't, you know.
Okay.
I'm like, we don't call our teachers by their last name. We say Mr. and Miss.
Right.
You know, we still have old school. But they don't say Coach or anything, no.
Right, yeah. Most of them, you know, they call Coach this, Coach that, but they just call you Mr.
Well,
Barton.
it's kind of like a coaching relationship, and it's very much like a coaching, but it's also a teacher, because marching band is 4 or 5 months out of the school year. And then they see me as their conductor. You know, we're getting ready for a Christmas program with Mrs. Jury, the choral director.
Mm-hmm. And you'll have basketball season starting.
You know, basketball, and no offense to basketball, but basketball is just basketball. Once you stop competing in basketball's over.
Right.
But with us, you know, we'll play pep bands for the basketball team. We've been picked. Our concert band is also very, very well known in the state. We all belong to an organization called Kentucky Music Educators Association. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, that's who hosted the championships.
The championships. We interviewed them for Richmond Tourism.
KMEA.
Mm-hmm.
And KMEA puts on a huge convention in February. It's one of the nicest conventions in the nation. And, you know, they'll draw over 1,700 music educators to Louisville. Mm-hmm. They do it in downtown at the convention center. And we've been picked, even before we knew we were going to win the state, we were picked to have our concert band was going to be showcased at this Kentucky Music Educators.
That's fantastic.
So
and that's this February.
Yes, this February. So we're trying to.
You got a large amount of kids on that as well.
I think we have 63 to 65 kids in our wind ensemble that we'll take.
And so when is your concert? Is it Christmas?
We're doing last year, I don't know if you guys got a chance to go to it, but we did a Christmas extravaganza. Our choral teacher, Lisa Jury, is from the Tampa, middle Florida area. And she takes her choral groups every once in a while to Disney. And she got the CD of the performances and stuff, and she asked me if I would transcribe it for band. So we did this sort of very Disney-esque thing with chorus and band, where the chorus sang and the band played the orchestra parts. And it really turned out well. We ended up selling out Madison Central, or close to selling out 2 nights in a row. And between our 2 programs, we made right at $10,000.
That's fantastic.
So it turned into a fantastic fundraiser.
So
this year, it's going to be December 15th and 16th.
Okay.
This year, we're going to expand it, and we're going to play even more music, and we're going to do it at EKU Arts Center.
Oh, the acoustics there are phenomenal.
They are phenomenal.
Madison Middle just had a Veterans Day program there. It was unbelievable with the choir. And
so we're going to do ours with the choir. And our choir is really, really good.
Yes.
They're phenomenal.
Yes.
And
sounds like Madison Central has a lot of good.
That's
A little bit of
what I'm
good
saying.
in everything.
It's
a fantastic school.
It is a fantastic school. I'm really honored. I went there. I graduated in '74. And
that
it
wasn't
was
too
good.
long ago, was it? No.
No. This was my 40th year anniversary.
Wow.
But it wasn't quite the school then, I don't think, that it is now.
Yeah.
Richmond's grown a lot.
It has.
And we've got tremendous businesses in Richmond that give to the school.
Yes.
And we have tremendous interest in Madison Central. But we can pick good teachers. We can pick good coaches. And, they want to come here and work. And I'm proud of our school. I'm very honored to teach there.
Well, listen, before we wrap it up, I have my one final question.
All right.
Do you have any superstitions or anything that you do or that you know that your students do, especially this season?
I can't think of any good coach that isn't crazily superstitious. I remember watching an interview with Bill Parcells right after he won a Super Bowl. And I thought, man, that guy's just like me. A band superstition is that we have what we call lucky penny, and we've been doing this for 20 years.
Okay.
But they'll take pennies and they'll attach them to a Bible verse to them,
Okay.
That could be a David and Goliath. It could be I do all things by faith, or though I may not, whatever it is. And they'll put the Bible verse on the penny, and they'll put the penny underneath. They'll tape the penny to the uniform.
All right.
And the kids, I've never addressed this because, first of all, I don't go out there and publicly endorse religion. I don't. It's the kids and the parents' business.
Yeah.
But I always think it's kind of sweet, and I always kind of treasure that. But I've never mentioned it or talked to the kids about it. But the parents and the kids will keep their pennies from year to year, so by the time they graduate, they'll have like a full ring of pennies.
Right.
So that's.
I think that's fantastic. A wonderful keepsake.
I have superstitions that I can't even tell whether they're superstitions or they're just me being neurotic. But there are things that I don't change, like there are pants that I don't wear, like I wear the same pair of pants to every regular season contest.
Okay.
The cowboy hat that everybody makes fun of, that's a superstition.
Okay.
A Texas guy, a grandparent, a cattle rancher for Texas gave that to me. And we went to contest, it's the second or third year we were in 5A, and we came in second, which, blew everybody's mind. So I always wear that hat.
So I gotta wear it. Well, you needed it November 1st.
It was cold.
Keeping it all warm up there.
Sadly, it didn't have a things to cover my ears. My ears got really cold. I remember that. But the cowboy hat's a superstition. All the kids have little superstitions. Sometimes they give each other a little toy soldier.
Right.
All crazy things.
Right. Well, before we close, is there any one thing that you want to say? I always give our coaches the last word.
No, except for, you know, the coaches, I think, get a credit when you win or when you lose. You know, that's always the guy that gets is a lightning rod, one way or the other, the lightning rod. But you know, it really takes a lot. If I sat here and listed everybody that name should be on a trophy, it'd take till 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you would need a long list.
Yeah, you know. And I don't even like walking down this road because you're going to leave somebody out. But the parents, the dads that get up at Central at 5 o'clock in the morning to start loading the stuff. Yeah. I mean, our stuff you've seen our stuff at the
tractor trailer full.
There's a Hager truck that, you know, Bob Hager donates. There's another semi.
We definitely want to shout out
and then there's a 16 ounce. Then there's 16 ounce. There's a 16-foot trailer. So we got the semi, a 16-foot trailer, and that Hager truck, that Hager semi, and all 3 of them are full. And they have to be loaded. The dads get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The moms get up and they either cook or they buy or they donate, and then they plan meals. I don't do any of that.
Yes.
I mean, the kids, they'd be eating gravel.
I've been with them the week before a show, going to Sam's to get the food and ingredients, the plates, the cups, the napkins.
When you start talking about feeding 170 kids, it's just it's nuts. Then, you know, the people on my staff, it's taken me 20 years to get to the place where I feel like there's not a better marching band staff. There's not a more creative team. I don't come up with all those ideas. No. As often as not, I'm just the CEO. Although I do come up, I will say, I take great pride. I do the music, and a lot of band directors don't even do that. Yeah. But I write that music myself, and I'm real controlling of that. Woe to some kid or staff member, I'll listen from the tower and go, wait a second, I wrote 2 16th notes there. Well, a staff member had us water it down. We'll stop rehearsal and then we have a chat. You know, I don't like...
yeah, don't change it.
Yeah.
Especially, you got to ask me first, I would think.
I have to say, you were talking about superstitions.
Yeah.
I don't like surprises. And I would be real surprised if most coaches do. I don't like to go...
No, I wouldn't think so.
I wonder why he's running that end around.
We were supposed to do it the other way.
Yeah, we're supposed to go right up the middle. I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of improvisation.
But it's incredible that you remember. I mean, you know, that's a lot of writing of notes and music, so that you can remember. That 16th note goes there.
Before the kids or the staff see it, I spent hours and hours with it.
Yeah, so you have it all memorized.
So we have back to the recognition stuff. We have wonderful teachers here. We have wonderful music teachers. Our wonderful staff. And you know, if you could say what you want to, but at some level, if Madison Central wasn't at a certain level in terms of school, there would be no state championship of any type, because you know, I wouldn't say it out in public, but I can think of 100 schools that might not ever win a championship just because they're not that high level of school, or they're not. But we have our kids aren't just good in band. They've been taught well. They have good teachers.
Good fundamentals.
Good fundamentals. They come in, they're smart, they're savvy. They've been taught well in middle, you know, Whitehall and Kit Carson and Silver Creek. There's some wonderful elementary schools here.
Your kids have to have good time management
too.
They
do, and they have to have study skills. So, I mean, it's not just a village to raise a child. It's a global entity to raise a child.
It's everybody.
Yeah, it's everybody.
It is. Well, listen, congratulations from myself, from Madison County School Sports. I am more than excited, and I'm sure your students and your parents will be too, to find out next year's theme.
Every year, I was joking with a parent last night who was saying, how are you going to top this? And I said, you know, every year, somebody comes up and says, well, this is the best you can do. You're not going to top that. And then every year they say, you know, parents this year, some were like, you know, I'm not sure this show has the same wow factor. But I would be surprised if we don't come up with something pretty fun for next year.
Meaning not dark, but more fun?
No, it'll be dark.
Okay, it'll still be dark.
This is how we are.
That's how you roll.
It's just it's how we roll.
Well, I have to say, I do miss you when I am back there by the cheer gym and where you guys practice, picking up my daughter. I miss you guys right now. I'm used to hearing it as I sit there and wait for the pickup, I'm always listening with my window rolled down, and there's parts of your program that I go, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I sat there in that parking lot listening to that.
My cousin Nancy's a real estate agent here, a real estate broker here in town, and we used to practice on parking lot C across from the Richmond Country Club.
Country Club, okay.
And she said after we stopped, when they moved us across the street and she couldn't hear it, she said her golf game went down 15 strokes.
Because she loved the music.
Well, she said, I would get there, you play something peppy, to keep me pace.
And it kept her going.
She said, now I can't focus, because it's just silence.
It is what it is. But I think you like, other than having to cross the street, I'm sure that can be a little dangerous. So we want to make sure everybody stays safe and drive slow after school right up there.
Yes, if you drive on Red House Road, go slow. Down. Go slow.
You guys are pulling big pieces of equipment across the street there.
Go slow.
It can be a little dangerous. And some of your kids aren't that big. Those instruments are bigger than them.
That's the thing. We have kids that are that are 6'7" and 250 pounds to kids that are like 3'11" and no pounds.
Yes, little things. I know. Some of those middle schoolers coming in there. Well, like I said, congratulations, state championship. I'm anxious, and I know a lot of people will be, to hear how next season goes.
Even people across the state have started now. What will Barton come up with next?
Oh yeah, they'll be watching. They're going to think you're going to give it away today. But we got to get you out of here.
Yep.
You're on television. You're popular.
I've got to get out to see my mom. She'll be waiting on me.
Yeah. I'm sure she wants to watch you on television again today. So, all right, Coach. Congratulations. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Until next season.
I really enjoyed it.
Well, we did too. We didn't even barely got a commercial break in there. We were going right with it. All right. Thanks again for watching Madison County School Sports. I'm Samantha Burford. On behalf of Mr. Barton, we'll see you next time.
Your look at local school sports.
Oh, there you go. You got time. Go right.
Goes up and under, nice
Hi everybody, I'm Samantha Burford, and I want you to watch MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, MCHS TV, and of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube. Madison County School Sports is proud to have Journey Auto and Boat Sales as the official sponsor of the Madison Central Marching Band on MCHS TV. This program is sponsored by Cumberland Valley National Bank and Trust. Visit their new location in Berea. Special thank you to our great sponsors: Jack Burford Chevrolet, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble, Luxury Pets, Express Roofing, we've got you covered, Faith Created, Assembly of God Church, ScenicCabin.com, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, give Sean a call, Tatum Enterprises, Richmond Tourism, WKYT.com, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, First Gear, Pro Signs, Berea Online, and Rosenbaum Communications.
Hey everyone, my name's Alex, and I want you to watch MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County School Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, MCHS TV, and of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube. The following is in smokeless tobacco: cadmium, formaldehyde, lead, nicotine, nitrosamines, polonium-210, hydrazine, benzopyrene, and uranium-235. Don't be a dip. Don't dip.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, the definition of binge drinking is having 5 drinks over the course of 2 hours. When done excessively, this may eventually lead to memory loss, unwanted pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases, cancer, excessive vomiting, alcohol poisoning, and possibly death.
Nathan, can you hear me?
If you don't want to swallow any of this, chances are the next tube you put in your mouth won't be a good time. For more information on binge drinking, please visit the Centers for Disease Control website at www.cdc.gov.